Greetings. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to bring you this community update video, the first of these planned weekly videos, just sharing about everything that's going on in this community. And yeah, this is the first one, so it will be maybe a little bit longer, and the others will be probably shorter, because there's a lot to update you on. And we'll continue to do updates, hopefully every Tuesday. And you can ask questions that will be answered in these videos and hear about, everything that's going on. So let's get to it. First of all, it's very exciting to be building something now that's bigger than any of us, in terms of what we're now calling this community or organization. I don't really like the word organization, but we're calling it Tantrika Institute, and that's nice because the initials are TI, same as Tantra Illuminated. It just coincidentally happened to work out that way. And we're calling it Tantrika Institute on purpose to keep it non-sectarian, right? That we welcome tantrikas of all varieties, and our faculty will be from multiple different lineages and streams of the tradition. So that's a specifically non-sectarian name, Tantrika Institute. Anyway, so that name covers our new retreat center in Portugal and any future retreat centers we open. And it also covers the online learning platform that we're building, which we've already done a soft launch of with the Foundations of Tantric Yoga course. And it also covers this Facebook group, which is still growing, 7,500 of you in this Facebook group now. So we may rename the Facebook group Tantrika Institute, or we may just keep it Tantrik Yoga Now. Doesn't really matter, but it could happen, just to let you know. So yeah, these are the various dimensions. There's more dimensions actually, which I'll come to, but those are the main ones. And I'll cover each of them in a little bit more detail. So the Foundations of Tantric Yoga course is the free online course that you can complete in 9 weeks, or you can take a little longer with it if you like. And that is very important because that's going to be a prerequisite to all future curriculum, both online and in person. So if you're not in the course, go ahead and get in there and experience it. We've actually been blown away by the rave reviews of people doing the course. It's really been far more impactful than we anticipated, any of us on the team. And by the way, our Tantrika Institute team is right now about 5 or 6 people on staff, plus a board of directors, which is another 5 people. And the Foundations course, has cost time and money to put together, but it's a free course because we want to make sure that some of the most important, most foundational teachings and practices are available to everyone. We want these teachings and practices to really benefit the world, and not be only available to some. And of course, we're going to need to have ways to generate revenue. So there will be a subscription site that will basically replace a couple of other sites that we already have, and that will have most of the curriculum will be in that subscription site, but we're going to make sure the cost is very reasonable. So the Foundations course is doing great by word of mouth. There's now 4,700 people signed up, and maybe half of them are actually doing the course. So I want to encourage the other half of you to go ahead and get stuck in and do the lessons and do the practices, it really is a powerful, impactful, and potentially life-changing course. So I hope you really give it a try. Okay, update on the new center in Portugal. So if we fulfill our total dream, we'll have a retreat center on each continent so that people don't have to travel so far to reach a retreat center. For obvious reasons, finances, climate change, many reasons. But right now we just have the one, and that's in central Portugal, not far from Leiria or Coimbra, if you know the area. A couple hours from Lisbon and a couple hours from Porto, which are the two airports that people can fly into, or people can take trains if they live in Europe. Now, this retreat center is just beautiful. It's in a beautiful area of vineyards and wine country and fig tree country. Currently, it can't house that many people, so we're initiating a construction project, which is starting almost immediately, and that's overseen by our awesome COO, our Chief Operations Officer, Tyler Marshall. And so we're going to be building tiny houses and installing bunk beds and all kinds of stuff so that we can welcome up to about 30 people for retreats. And then we're also going to have overflow into neighboring bed and breakfasts so that we could have more like 50 people for our kind of maximum capacity on retreat. So more updates coming about that. Right now, we just have 2 community members on site taking care of the property, and we're just doing this very grassroots thing. Of course, we also have 3 cats and some chickens on site. Very sad news. We lost several chickens to a fox, a very clever, conniving fox. And so, yeah, we did actually lose several chickens, but now we're taking measures to stop this fox from getting in, not trap him, of course. We love the fox too. So that's the current scenario at the property. It's just a gorgeous place, and we're going to make it more gorgeous. We're going to really go for it in terms of the tantric tradition being so embracing of beauty and aesthetic experience. We want this retreat center to reflect that. Now, if you would like to be a volunteer to help build this place or do permaculture or, help realize the dream, you can email Miranda, our volunteer coordinator, at coordinator@tantrikainstitute.org. And please only do this if you have actual skills that we might actually need in any realistic scenario. We will want more artistic skills and other sorts of skills as well. But right now, we just need very practical skills. So if that's you and you want to volunteer, go ahead and send an email. Okay, so the center will open in May, and the first retreat will be the Dasha Mahavidya retreat, part 1, the 10 great wisdom goddesses of Tantra, part 1, with Kavitha Chinnaiyan as our main teacher and myself as guest teacher. So that'll be our first retreat, May 20 to 25th. We're, of course, late in terms of publishing the details of this retreat because we have been scrambling to get everything together. And so it is happening. It absolutely is happening. And so we're really excited to welcome, hopefully, about 30 of you to this 10 Wisdom Goddess retreat, part 1, right? The first 5 of the 10 Wisdom Goddesses, with part 2 happening, we think, in September. So that'll be the first official retreat. But then the grand opening, because that's like the soft launch, the grand opening of the center with full capacity will be in August, mid-August. We'll have a retreat with myself as the lead teacher, possibly some guest teachers also. And then we'll have retreats every couple of months indefinitely, right, with various teachers. So that's the plan that we're going for anyway. So just be aware of that, you know, so you can start planning for when you're going to visit. Anything else on that? I guess not. But more info coming soon. Also a lot happening on upcoming publications front and translations. So I'm about to finish my translation of the stanzas on Pulsation, the Spanda-kārikās. And this community is so vibrant and so wise and so brilliant as well that I want to start doing some crowdsourcing where I say, hey guys, here's my translation. And I've been working on this one off and on for some years. It's about to be finished. And I'm going to offer it to you guys. I'm going to put it in the group and say, let's talk about how we can make these sentences and these verses even clearer. Let's go for the most crystal clear translation that, of course, conveys the original intent of the author, the great master who composed that text, but in a way that can reach people. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm interested to see what happens when we crowdsource suggestions for, oh, we could say it this way or that way or the other way, or what is it that is clear to you? What is it is unclear to you in this translation? How can we make it better? Yeah, so more about that later. This is, again, just a quick overview of stuff. And then I've got several books in the works, right? The Vijñāna-bhairava-tantra book, which is going to be the definitive reference work on this text, we hope, and will contain as much information as possible about all the 112 practices of the Vijñāna-bhairava-tantra, including input from other teachers besides myself. So this will also be a multi-faculty book. The vision has gotten quite ambitious. Hopefully we can actually pull it off. But it will be, hopefully the definitive version with multiple contributors of this incredible text. Speaking of incredible texts, our faculty member, another Tantrika Institute faculty member, Kavitha Chinnaiyan, has released her book, Glorious Alchemy, which I would regard as the definitive version so far of the Lalita Sahasranama. And that's the 1,000 names of Goddess Lalita. And that book also has all kinds of amazing practices, Tantric yoga practices given in there. These practices are this is just what's happening. They're spontaneously flowing forth to a wider audience. Of course, there are always practices that are kept more secret for only the most committed practitioners. But both Kavitha and myself and other teachers in this community are sharing some of these outer level practices more widely now, and it's very exciting. Please check out Kavitha's book if you haven't. It is certainly the greatest book on this recitation text of the Sri Vidya branch of Tantric, the Tantric tradition. So I've also got a book. I've also got the Near Enemies to the Truth book in the works, which you'll be able to share with all your friends and will probably incite controversy on a whole new level, which is great. And we've got the Tantrāloka, Tantra-sāra book coming together little by little. And I guess that's it. No, there's another book, but that's a back burner project. Okay. You guys probably have questions. I have a couple more items to cover in this community update video. I'm moving fast. Okay, no questions so far, but you can put questions there if you want. Tour. Right now, I'm in Melbourne, just arrived in Melbourne, Australia. Our Airbnb turned out to be on the 62nd floor of this high-rise building. I don't know if you guys can, I don't know if the camera's gonna work. You can see Melbourne sort of spread out below there. You probably couldn't see it that well. So yeah, we're very, very high up. It's awesome. Like, if you feel tired and need a shot of adrenaline, you just come over and lean against the window. You don't need coffee, you know, it's like, whoa, I'm awake. Anyway, so this is, I'm on tour in Southeast Asia and Australia. This is the 2-month Southeast Asia and Australia tour. After here, I'll be here for a while and then be in Bali. So if you have friends in Melbourne, please tell them about the events here. And oh, I want to be clear, from almost now on, there's a couple things scheduled that are independent events, but from now on, all the things that I do are going to be part of this bigger Tantrika Institute vision. And revenues are going to be going to support that. So that, like I mentioned at the beginning, that feels very exciting because it feels right. So anyway, so supporting any aspect of it is supporting all of it, and in ways that I'll explain more down the line. But anyway, if you have folks, any friends in Melbourne, let them know about events here. Any friends in Bali, or if you might want to come to Bali, that's next month, that's March. And then after that, be getting ready for the first retreat in Portugal in May. Okay, how can you support? So I have a Patreon page. The Patreon page is now just under my name. Either I'm going to retool it as Tantric Institute, you know, support the work of the Institute, or we'll just, after a few months from now, we'll just shut it down and have people migrate over from Patreon to the new membership site, the Tantrika Institute web membership site that we hope will launch in May. But anyway, if you want to support this community, this vision, this work, this mission, whatever you want to call it, then please join the Patreon page. That's the main way to support right now. And we're actually at 90% of our goal for monthly revenue. So we would just need a few more supporters to be at 100% of our current of my current goal for monthly revenue, to help pay the bills. That's just like paying the bills, as it were. So anything else on that? Oh, and you get loads of wonderful content in the Patreon site. Actually, hundreds of hours of content, more than you could possibly listen to, I suppose. But you could focus on what you wanted to learn about within that site. So check that out if you haven't already. And $10 a month helps. Anything helps. Anything from $10 to $108 a month on the Patreon site. Okay. So that is the stuff, some of the stuff happening. Questions, looking at questions in the little window here for those of you who are live. Yes, and more, someone asked about translations, so I listed some of those earlier in the video. And there are indeed more translations happening as well, that I'm not totally ready to talk about, but you know, a number of things are on the go, and we hope that very much hope that we'll be bringing on more faculty and be publishing translations by other great scholar practitioners as well, like friend Ben Williams. He's busy as a professor at Naropa, but I hope that we will publish a book of his maybe next year, specifically translations of the stanzas on the recognition of the divine, the Ishvara Prathamigna-kārikas, and other stuff. Okay, someone asks about the August dates again. August, we're planning probably 12 to 17. That's the grand opening for the center. And we'll have a grand opening apart from the retreat as well, either at the beginning or end of that retreat. And so if you happen to be in Portugal, or if you're in London or whatever, you want to fly over, you could come just for the party. That's totally fine. That would be like, again, somewhere around August 12th or August 17th or 18th, something like that, for the grand opening. Yeah, and like I said, this is just the first of a weekly series. We're going to do an update video every week, so you will get more information as it comes out, hot off the press, as it were. And once we get things settled and organized, then we'll have a retreat center calendar that is definitely set a year in advance. So we don't, this is not how we want to operate what we're doing now, where we're telling you, we're going to have a retreat in just a few months. No, there will be a retreat center calendar planned out a year in advance so that you can plan, because we know that a lot of people do plan that far ahead. Oh, great. Yes, thank you. I meant to answer that question, actually. Kaushalya asks, will you finish the Vijñāna-bhairava online course? Yes. So I hope to resume those videos actually this week. So we're a little more than halfway through this 2-year-long free Vijñāna-bhairava-tantra course, and that appears both in the Facebook group and on the YouTube channel. So that will continue, and then eventually it will appear in the Tantrika Institute curriculum in a totally different form, where we're going to reorganize all those practices into sort of easiest and most accessible up to most esoteric and challenging, because in the original text, they're not organized in that order at all. So we're going to, just for the sake of a modern sort of 21st century curriculum, we're going to reorganize all that material and reshoot all that material in a more logical progression, both in terms of, not only in terms of easier to more challenging, but also in terms of which practices build on which in the text isn't originally organized that way either, for the most part, except sometimes it is. Okay, so that's the answer to that question. The new online learning portal, which is again just called Tantrika Institute, probably is again going to launch probably in May, but we're going to continue to roll out content for the next 4 years, and this will eventually be a 4-year curriculum leading to an actual degree. We're not going to go for college board accreditation or anything, because we don't want to be that academic. We want it to be very much a practitioner's degree or certificate. But of course, there will be deep learning, but more practitioner focused than academic focused. And this 4-year curriculum has 7 primary tracks, and you can just do one of the tracks, or you can do all 7. You would need to do all 7 to earn the degree. So those tracks are view, or Tantric philosophy, that's one track. Awareness cultivation, that includes all kinds of meditative practices. We could call this the meditation track, but I really prefer the term awareness cultivation. the energy body work track, work all kinds of practices for strengthening the energy body, and also dream yoga will be in that track. Then we've got the yogic lifestyle track, which is like Ayurveda and other kinds of things that support a yogic lifestyle. Then we've got deity yoga and puja track. So learning the very traditional practices of working with deities in a tantric way, and also doing puja. Then we've got the mantra science track, and this is all going to be about sound and mantra and every aspect of mantra science. And then we've got the living in the world track. How do we apply these teachings to, you know, I don't know, working a normal job or being a parent, stuff like that. So that's very much, you know, applying the teachings to being very much in the world. So that's a whole track. Each of the tracks we are guessing. Each of the tracks is itself a 2-year curriculum, and then you do several concurrently, just like you would in university. You can, or you can take as much time as you want and do them consecutively, not concurrently, or not do it at all, whatever you want, you know. But anyway, this will all make more sense once it's mapped out for you. But I just wanted to share the names of those 7 primary curricular tracks. And I will type some of this up and put it in a written post as well. Okay. So Kirili asks, will there be assessments? Absolutely. For people who want the actual degree, there will be exams and assessments of various kinds. For people who don't care about actually getting the certificate or the degree, and becoming a teacher of this stuff, if you're not going for that, then you don't need to do the exams and assessments, and I don't recommend that you do. It's really for those people who want that certificate and want to become a teacher in their own right in the long term. Okay, so that's all. We again, this video was longer. They won't be this long. They will be half this length. This is the first community update video coming to you live and direct from Melbourne, although you're probably not. You're probably watching the recording. Yeah. Nice to share in this journey and this vision with all of you, and we are open to your ideas, your suggestions. We do eventually want to have a diverse faculty of great and very experienced teachers. We do want to have also, the most important of all is that it's the community that makes everything happen. It's not a top-down thing, right? We're not going to be dictating things top-down. We're going to be taking your feedback all the way along. So that's why those of you doing the foundations course, you're going to tell us after you've done it what you loved, what you didn't love, what was clear, what was not clear, what could be better, because we are going to really do this together. And in every way possible, right? So once we're more organized than we are, when we're going to have everything like financial transparency. All of you can look at the books, all this kind of stuff. We want a 100% community-based organization. It just takes a lot of work, and we're in progress towards that dream. We haven't even written up the mission statement, but when we do, or the vision statement, when we do, that'll be subject to your feedback as well. Of course, we'll never come up with something that all, 10,000 of you are 100% happy with, because that's impossible, but we'll do our best. Thank you for being part of this community, and for most of all, for living the teachings, for practicing, and just doing your best to live these teachings in your everyday life. And please remember, your best is more than good enough. Om.